What are stories? A mirror, a map, and sometimes medicine. Come, let us tell you stories of Cameroonian innovators, builders, and dreamers who prove that true success abroad is measured by the change it inspires back home. In these stories, the spirit of Cameroon meets the promise of America. Two worlds joined by passion, vision, and unity. From Cameroon to the United States, the journey is more than miles. It's a mission. I'm Patience Embelle Famien. This is Diaspora Stories, where Cameroonian grit goes global. Welcome. Once stubborn in spirit, today Dr. Nkwepo is steadfast in purpose. From degrees earned in the US to books reminding women of their royal worth, her story is one of resilience, family, and redefining womanhood. Affectionately known as Dr. Queen, Dr. Mimi Leyuga Nkwepo embodies a powerful balance, gracefully navigating the worlds of femininity, fierce leadership, and a devoted family life. I took a short ride to her elegant residence nestled in the upscale Potomac district of Maryland. In this revealing conversation, I set out to uncover the layers of her personality, from the spark of her childhood to the inspiration behind her books and the driving force behind her unwavering pursuit of excellence.
As a child, I remember a very smart young woman who doesn't take no for an answer. I started as a child, of course. She's that resilient, strong person, always focused, very playful, very, very playful. Yes, that's what I remember of Mimi as a child. She has always been very disciplined and focused in everything she does. She is a go-getter, and that's always been what defines her from childhood to today. That hasn't changed. What I admire most about her impact is she's always giving back. Mimi gives back to everyone. Sometimes I'll say she's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, because the face you give her is the face she gives you back. She has a very beautiful soul. She's very loving and supportive. She's that person who wants to grow everyone around her.
As we entered one of her stylishly curated living rooms, decorated with crowns and silver shoes as a tribute to royalty, there was no mistaking of the message. This was a woman who had claimed her throne in every sense. And why not?
Thank you again. What do these mean? I noticed the heels.
The heels, I'm a queen, I'm a princess. I just love being very feminine.
Really?
I'm wearing one.
Oh, okay. So
yes.
I can get this when I'm going.
That's size 11.
Oh no,
you're gonna need.
It's not going to work.
You're gonna need help with that one. That's size 11.
Did you?
But
yeah.
When I decorated this room,
exactly.
this is my space. Mm-hmm. You're gonna see my crown and and my heels. Uh-huh. I think for me, it's just a reminder that you could still be a girl and be a boss. Yes. You know, you could still be very feminine and still play really hard in the man's world. Why can't a woman have it all?
Do you think we're afraid of having it all?
I think that society, it's programmed us to feel guilty of wanting to have it all.
Yes.
I think that as we grow up as girls, our surroundings, in most cases, not all the time, constantly try to shape us and put us in a box. And subconsciously, we grow up in that box or trying to fit in the box without even realizing it. I'm a girly's girl.
Yes.
But I would sit on a table with 900 men and still tell them what I think and how I feel. And that's something that a lot of the girls have in them, but they just got to dig deep to find it. And when you get up in the morning, look in the mirror and be grateful for what the reflection you see, because there's only one you, right?
Yeah.
There will never be two of you or two of me. And I think that my advice would be every morning, you could start with 5 things that you like about yourself or that you like about being in front of that mirror that morning, right? None of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. Yeah, I might be confident, but that doesn't mean I'm perfect. I'm like nowhere close to perfection. But I think I've learned to live with my imperfections. And I would like our young girls to learn to live with their imperfections. I would like our young girls to get up in the morning, look in the mirror and like what they see. But for you to like what you see, self-affirmation. Look in the mirror, pick 5 things. It could be your eyes, it could be your nose, it could be your teeth, it could be anything. And just admire it and tell yourself how much you love that about yourself.
Yes.
And that will grow. You'll find 5 becomes 10, 10 becomes 11. Because like I said, nobody's perfect. We just gotta be able to love us unapologetically, love who we are, because they say charity begins at home. I think I've always been like this, but growing up, it was known to be stubbornness. I have always been associated with stubbornness from my early age. And I just believe, sitting back today and looking, I think the stubbornness was just me. Well, what family and society and people around me termed stubbornness was just me knowing what I wanted, me knowing how to speak my truth, me just being unapologetically me.
Yeah.
And because in our society, it's not common for a child in general, talk less of a girl, to literally just speak their mind. I've always been known as being stubborn. If you ask me, I would beg to differ. I would just say I was a girl that, just said what I thought at every given moment and wasn't afraid to say what I was thinking. I do believe that if you don't write your own story, then somebody else is. Why would I let somebody write the story of my life or write my professional story when I am capable of doing so myself? So when I get a seat on a table, I make sure everybody on that table knows that I earned that seat. It wasn't given to me. I don't see gender. I just see what I can bring to the table and what the others can bring to the table. And you best believe I'm my biggest brand ambassador. I will tell you what Mimi can do and what Mimi cannot do. Our issues as women is usually being our own biggest brand ambassadors. What do I mean by that? When you meet a male professional, let's say in any field, let's say medicine, you have a conversation. As HR, I have conversations with these individuals, and the way they sell themselves, the way they talk about themselves, right? Then you turn around and you have an interview with a female doctor, probably better qualified, more experienced, better at her job, but the way she sells herself is nowhere as close to how the male person did it. I found myself throughout my career telling women that own it. You went to school, it's your degree, you do the job, just own it. So for me, I know what Mimi could do. I know what Mimi brings to the table. So when I sit on any table, I own it.
Having it all as a woman isn't a fantasy. It is a journey of self-discovery. For Dr. Mimi, being raised by a tribe of women she called mothers was a lesson in determination and in having just the right amount of stubbornness.
I've got into so many trouble as a kid.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was just in so much trouble. But I think most importantly, I was very assertive. I spoke up, even for my cousins, sisters, siblings. Like, you know, I was the voice of the voiceless from a very young age, which got me in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But I just think that's just part of growing up, and that's just part of just being me. I was always this girl that I did what me wanted to do. And, you know, it didn't matter if it got me into trouble. And that's always been me. I have not ever known of a time when I wanted to be anybody else but Mimi. I've always been confident, but that's also because, like I said, I'm very stubborn. I don't let anybody dictate or decide how I feel or what I do.
Yes.
And because of that, I've always been a happy-go-lucky person. I truly believe in the power of positive thinking. I was 13 years old when my granddad gave me a book, and the book was titled The Power of Positive Thinking. I read that book, and at 13, I really didn't get much out of it. Circle back 7 years later, I read the same book. I'm 20 now, and it was like a light switch went off.
Yes.
I actually bought the books for my boys when they were also 13. But what that did for me was, I've always felt like, you know, positivity, you know, would take you places that you don't even imagine you can go, in terms of paradigm shift, in terms of how you look at the, you know, things that are happening around you. You can choose to say, I know this is cliche, we say it all the time, see the glass half full as opposed to half empty. But, you know, just knowing that, you know, you go to a hospital complaining about your legs, then you go there and meet somebody who don't even have toes, right? Or doesn't even have a leg.
Yes.
And it put things into perspective, right? So, you know, that is part of that's one of the reasons why I've remained so positive. I was in a boarding school in Cameroon, right before I was sent off to the UK. And, you know, as young kids, 10, 11, we do crazy things. And, you know, there was a girl in the class that had this mango or whatever, this fruit.
Yes.
That, you know, somehow they said it could do it could get the effect of a tattoo.
Okay.
Like, and we played around with it. And of course, being me, I had to experience, you know, so I used it and drew kind of a hat. And when the principal and the teachers found out, we were told to go get our parents.
Okay.
And I just knew that that was going to land me in so much trouble. Let's just say I got me a makeshift parent. I found me parents that, yes. I mean, I've been known to be very creative from a very young age. And that got me in trouble because it eventually came out. Eventually came out.
Okay, so the makeshift parents did not perform well.
They performed well. Everything went well. Everything was great. And then the last day of school, my mom showed up to pick me up and introduced herself. And then the principal was like, "Well, I didn't know you had a kid in the school." And my mom is like, "Yeah." And I tried to like retract into the corners, but it was too late.
Yeah.
And the principal was like, "That's your daughter?" It was like, "Oh." Then the rest was just,
yes.
Oh man, I had it rough driving home that day to Douala.
The mothers in her life understood the value of preserving Mimi's uniqueness. They nurtured her loving nature while instilling an equal measure of assertiveness needed to thrive in the business world. They planted seeds of strength, seeds that would one day blossom into her celebrated book, Strength of a Woman, unveiling unparalleled resilience and power of women through the ages. Through this compelling narrative, she explores resilience, framing stories from biblical heroines to modern-day activists and inspiring women to reclaim their potential and rewrite history. With a master's degree in human resources already completed, for her doctorate, she graduated at the top of her class with a 3.96 GPA at the Thomas Edison State University, earning her praise from university leaders for her academic strength and leadership.
Within the DBA program, Mimi was excellent. She did all of the work. She was on time. She was bubbly. She had a great personality, and the dean loved her.
I absolutely adore Mimi for her tenacity, for her intelligence, for all that she does to project what womanhood is all about. She lets us know that education is of the utmost importance and that we are fabulous creations in God's eyes.
For me, I've always been, I was an overachiever. And I'd always told myself that I was going to get to the summit of education. So I got married really young. I got married at 23. And I sort of did the whole school thing backwards. Got married at 23. Did my master's here at Thomas Edison in 2014. Finished in 2014 in 18 months. And I was always looking for a school to go ahead and do my doctorate. And Thomas Edison at the time didn't offer it. So when the time came, I said, I do a lot of women empowerment, girls empowerment. I want to say if you can do it. I said, I did it, you can do it. So for me, it was a mission from, I guess I would say from a very young age. I've always known that I wanted to do this. Thomas Edison, of course, gave me the best platform to accomplish it. I'm very lucky because about a year to the end of my DBA, I found a job that I was hired with a job with the understanding that I was completing the DBA. And I think if it wasn't for the DBA, I wouldn't have had the job, right? So I'm the head of talent acquisition for Coach USA. When I met with my boss, who is now the CEO, I did say, hey, I'm doing a DBA. I have like less than a year to graduate. And he was like, okay, bingo, what can you do for us as a company? And of course, with my knowledge and experience, especially knowledge from the DBA, I went along and told him how I was going to transform the HR talent acquisition department. And of course, that led to me getting the job and the job being upgraded from a director to a head of talent acquisition, HR talent acquisition. So I think with the DBA, my career took almost like a flight that without the DBA, I might not have. I did my master's here, so I knew that the faculty was great. And I also knew that I had a really, really challenging calendar. I'm a mom of 2 boys. I'm married, I have a full-time job. So I needed a program that could fit well with my craziness that's a schedule, right? And the DBA was the perfect, like Thomas Edison DBA program was perfect for me because I knew that the faculty, was flexible. I knew that the dean, the assistant dean were very reachable. The mentors are people that some of them had taught me when I did my master's. So I understood the style. I understood the platform that the school operates on. So it was a no-brainer for me because I was familiar with how, easy, in quotes, it was to navigate starting at Thomas Edison.
In her next book, Woman, Beauty Beyond Skin Deep, Dr. Mimi Nkwepo dives into the concept of inner beauty, teaching women how to cultivate self-worth beyond physical appearance and encouraging authenticity and empowerment in today's world. Dr. Mimi opens up about one area of her life that still challenges her, how to navigate situations that rattle her core. Naturally averse to conflict, she prefers to keep a tight circle, one filled with people who understand her blunt honesty. These days, she's working on embracing the gray areas of life rather than seeing everything in stark black or white.
I want to say I've been working on how I handle things that rattle me.
Okay.
I don't like conflict, so I feel uncomfortable when there's conflict. And I think that I struggle with that because I feel like, I'm a happy person. I always want to be happy.
Yeah.
So I tend to not really want to deal with conflict or shy away from conflict. For that reason, I've kept my circle really, really small.
Okay.
Right? That doesn't mean I don't see people, hang out with people, but that's something that I struggle with. And I don't know how to sugarcoat anything, right? So white is white, gray is gray. And as a professional, there are times when, I should be able to
See the gray.
see the gray.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm working on.
Okay.
I wouldn't really say it's a negative because I believe that it helps me just stay true to who I am. I don't have to lie. I don't have to pretend. But I also appreciate that as I get older, as I've been growing, there are things that I would, have to bend that, attitude of, okay, black and white, and try to find a gray area. I'm working on that.
Dr. Nkwepo is a dedicated mentor, especially to young women and girls in Cameroon and Africa, guiding them toward financial independence and personal growth.
So I do believe that charity begins at home.
Yeah.
So Cameroon is always going to be home. Africa is always going to be home. I do not only go to Cameroon. I've been to Ghana, I've been to Togo, Benin, and then Cameroon. I believe that when you, going back to embracing our stories, when you know who you are, you know your identity, you embrace who you are, it makes for a better person. Because whatever you do, you are constantly reminded of where your foundation is and where your foundation lies, hence where your loyalty should lie. I do believe that it didn't matter what I do around here, if I cannot go back to Africa, to Cameroon in particular, and be able to give back, then I'm of disservice to Cameroon. So that's why it doesn't matter what I do, I try to go back to Africa, especially Cameroon. I had an event in Boya at the Chandra headquarters, and the title of the event was Women Empowering Women, Being Our Sisters Keepers. And we talked a little bit about my books. And it was a group of young girls. Actually, we had babies because some of the girls came with their babies. Age, I want to say like 18 and above. And for me, it was just having an opportunity to talk to some of these girls face to face. A lot of times they read books, they see people on TV, It makes a huge difference when you can actually sit there next to this person and ask the questions directly to them. It makes a whole lot of difference when you can put a face to the name, like live connections. So the event was great. I think one of the things that I did was we kind of had like a lunch and learn. So I did the whole spiel about the books, pulled out some paragraphs and had different girls read them. I just wanted the girls, if nothing else, to know that, they're enough, to know that there's nothing that if they set their minds to do, they cannot accomplish. I wanted the girls to know that they are forces to be reckoned with. And I do believe that as a society, we need to tell our girls that more. We need to tell them they're amazing. We need to tell them that they're powerhouses because they are. We need to encourage them to live their true, authentic life without, negotiating or without feeling guilty or without making excuses. I had a room full of some really, really smart young ladies with great questions. And when I left, before I left, we had kind of it was lunch and learn. So what do you think? What do you take away from this event? I think what was consistent with most of the girls we spoke to was that now they will leave this place knowing that there's nothing they cannot do.
Yeah.
They'll leave this place knowing that if they want it and they work hard, they can achieve it. And that was, if I can touch just one girl at every sitting, it's one too many. When I do events, I don't do all the talking. I like when it's interactive. As a professor, I like when it's interactive because that's when you really know if the audience is following you. That's when you really know if the audience is digesting, what you're spouting out, right? So there was one girl when we initially started, she was very shy. She didn't want to read, she didn't want to talk. And, and I mentioned to the girls that I'm not doing all the talking. So just be ready to be picked up. Say, hey, you gotta read. And she was one of the girls that I wanted to read. And by the time we left the room that day, she was chit-chatting, talking to me, Dr. Mimi, can I connect with you on social media? And, to me, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. In less than a couple of hours, she just realized that she had a voice and that voice did not need to be silent. She doesn't need to stay quiet. She doesn't need to, and it took just a little bit for me to get her to get out of her, her shell and was like this bubbly, young lady that I was very happy to see because when I walked into the room, she was like sitting in the corner and wasn't talking. All I had to do was get her to read, ask her a couple of questions and picked her because, hey, I said that, somebody was going to get a gift, like best participant.
Oh, okay.
And the gift was going to be a book.
Yes.
And so I got them talking because they wanted the book, right? It was just great. I think that every time you go into a situation, like when you're speaking to young girls in Africa, I say Africa because of how our society is.
Yeah.
Girls needs to be, seen and not heard, stay quiet and and you go somewhere and you're able to get the girls out of their shells or get them into a comfortable area where they feel safe and they can talk. To me, it's priceless. It's more than any amount of money anybody can pay me when I can see that. Our stories makes us who we are.
Yeah.
Imagine that, you don't embrace who you are. How do you learn from the experiences of the past? If you keep trying to forget your past, you're going nowhere, right? Because our past are there for a reason. So either we can learn from them or we can improve from events that came from our past. So embracing our stories as women makes us work towards becoming a better version of ourselves. I mean, at least that's what I think. And I also believe that we have individual stories. Each woman has a unique story. And if you go in and look at that story, another woman or a girl out there can learn from that story and become a better version of themselves. I'm passionate about anything that has to do with girls, women, and obviously children. I'm a strong believer of the fact that if you make a difference in a kid's life, that gift that you give that child will keep giving for many generations to come, because then that child becomes a parent. And if that child is a productive person in society, they will raise productive kids. And in return, in turn, those kids will do the same thing. So I'm a believer of the fact that when you give a child a life, you impact many generations to come. So I normally would give when it has to do with, I do orphanages. I take my kids. I started taking my kids to orphanages when they were 5 years old. Actually, my oldest was 5 and my youngest was like a little bit younger. And I just wanted to instill in them the habit of understanding that, life at its very best, it's very, very unpredictable. And if you find yourself in a situation where you can be of service or helpful to another human being, you should make sure that you do your best, do the very best you can to touch that person's life or to help that person or to do something to somebody. And you don't need to have anything back in return. You don't need to have any payback. I think if we each just do that, if we can each just be shoulders for others, we'll make the world a better place.
In her cinema room, we revisited a milestone in her life, her graduation from the Thomas Edison State University. It was clear how deeply the moment resonated.
That's my son, that's Didi.
Oh, wow.
And I've always been there.
Watching you put in work every day, staying in your office 24/7, working so hard just to get here. Before you used to work so many jobs at once, and now you got a doctorate while taking care of 2 kids and your husband.
I know you worked very hard, and you would stay up till 2 a.m. doing work, sometimes even 5 a.m., doing all-nighters. You really deserve this.
Je suis enfin très ému et très heureux que ce voyage ardent ait atteint une fin avec succès et beaucoup de joie.
Surrounded by love, celebration, and encouragement from those dearest to her, Dr. Mimi was visibly moved to tears. Tears that welled in her eyes as she reflected on the importance of honoring small victories and staying committed to the pursuit of excellence.
It gets me every single time. Think about the sacrifice women have to make once they become wives and mothers. To even be able to dream, it's already like major. And then being able to make the dream become a reality makes it's almost like, man, I cannot believe I did this. And it wasn't just that I did this. It's just that it also shows all the girls, all the women, that if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was dead serious when I said, I did this. And I know, in my hearts of hearts, that any girl or woman that wants to do this and they're willing to put in the work, they can do it. I believe that, for me in particular, celebrating small wins is very, very important. Small wins, celebrating them makes you ready for bigger wins, right? So when I say let's celebrate the little wins, I mean it. We don't celebrate the little things in life because we think they don't matter. But actually, when you give yourself a tap at the back for the smallest thing, it encourages you to do more, right? So when I got my master's, I was like, yeah, I did it. I knew that was not the end for me. Now, maybe for another woman, that's it, right? But for me personally, I knew that was not the end. So what did I do? I celebrated it. I made sure that I bask in it. I enjoyed the moment. And I told myself that, yes, you did it, Mimi, and you can even do better. That celebration fueled, the drive that I had in me to go out there and do even better. Which is go out there and complete my doctorate with a 3.9 something GPA over 4. For somebody who had a full-time job, who is married, who runs businesses, who has kids, it had to take a lot of work and dedication for me to say, my goal is to have this doctorate with a minimum of a 3.8 GPA. Because, that that got me focused. And I was intentional in every single move I made because I knew what I wanted. I do believe that our paradigms, our environment makes us who we are. If you want to be successful, and in my books I say that, find more. If you know of somebody that does something that you really like well, approach them.
Yes.
Let them be your mentor. Let them be in your immediate space so that they can rub off. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable and say, you know what, I don't know this and I want to learn it. I'm a true believer of we learn every day till the day we die. I'm not done learning. Contrary to, you have a doctorate. No, I'm not done learning. And I believe that every single day is an opportunity to learn something different and something new. And I just wish our girls and our mothers would understand, or the ladies, the strength and the will that's within them. And when you tap into that strength, or into the, if you shift your paradigm and say, this is what I want, and you tap into the inner strength that is you as a woman, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. You'll be amazed at what you can do. And I think that's what has helped me, being able to just have a paradigm shift. As I said, I will stay positive. I will make sure that whatever I do, I don't forget where I came from. Whatever I do, I celebrate those little wins, because those little wins will eventually lead to bigger wins. I think that's, it's taken me places. And I hope that as I keep that same paradigm or that same mindset, I hopefully I can accomplish many more things to come.
As a career woman, Dr. Mimi Nkwepo is an expert in human resources for Fortune 300 firms like Johnson & Johnson. Her real estate and hospitality business venture, the Kilimanjaro Group, has been peaking financially since 2014. It is one of the largest African-owned hospitality businesses in the region. Success in business is stereotypically linked to masculinity. But Dr. Mimi is a living proof that feminine energy and sharp strategy can command any boardroom and still build a home.
When I say I'm blessed, it's probably an understatement. I think that, marrying young, my husband was also young, but from the beginning, making sure my husband knows who I am, because I don't know how to pretend. Like I mentioned, I'm working on trying to figure out the grade depending on what we're dealing with. I'm a very straight and honest person. So when I met my husband knew that I was ambitious. My husband knew that I had all those goals that I'd set for myself. My husband knew that I wanted to go to school until I couldn't go anymore. And when we got into the marriage, he knew who I was. There were no surprises later on. He didn't marry somebody else and then later on found out that this person was somebody else. From day one, he knew what Mimi wanted, who Mimi was, and he's been very supportive. That is a blessing, when you marry a man that is willing to help you achieve the goals that you've set for yourself. When you marry a man that is willing to, go through, the journey with you, stand by your side, stand in front of you, stand behind you, and just walk the path with you, it's something I don't take for granted.
Her home stands as a solid foundation built on respect, duty, and love, where she gracefully takes on the role of queen to her husband and guiding light to her sons.
I've been with my husband for about 25 years, but we've been married about 20, almost 21. So we were together, we did the African marriage, the African traditional stuff, because of course he's from the palace. And then we only did the white wedding 4 years later. My husband has never cooked a day since he's been with me, right? When I married him, I knew he couldn't cook because he didn't hide it. Contrary to what people think about women empowerment, I think when you say women empowerment, people assume that you're saying that the woman should come and, be the boss or sit on the man's head. I think until we start understanding that an empowered woman, it's a great partner to whoever they're with. An empowered woman is a great support system to her husband or her family. That empowerment doesn't necessarily mean being, the be-it-all and the know-it-all and the leader or the man of the house. No. Empowered in the sense that know who you are, be ready to represent yourself, be your biggest brand ambassador, fight for what you believe in and what you know, be the best version of yourself, empower yourself enough to know what's happening around you and what you want for yourself and for your family so that you can be a great support system to those people that are around you. And I'm hoping that, if nothing else, I raise men that will be of example to others tomorrow. I'm hoping that if I do nothing besides just raising them, I just make sure that when they go out there, they're a great representative of who I am and who their dad is, and be able to be an example or examples to other young men like themselves, especially in our society or in our community.
As As we wrapped up our conversation in the summer glow of her yard, Dr. Mimi emphasized the power of kindness and mutual respect among women. She believes women shouldn't be quick to judge one another, but rather bloom through shared support and solidarity, as shown to her by these women in her life. As an author, she isn't done yet. Her next releases are dedicated to reminding women of their identity and mission as royalty.
I still have a few books to publish. I have a series of 6 books on women empowerment. So far, I've published 3. So I have 3 more in the works. And I will not share all the titles, but they're going to be quite interesting. In one of them, I am telling women to know their worth and loving themselves. Another one I'm talking about, I mentioned in there, we're princesses. All of us are princesses, born princesses. I don't care what home you were born in or how you were born. That you were born a girl, you are a force to be reckoned with, and you're a gift to mankind. So you're a little princess that would metamorphose into a beautiful queen. We should just all realize that that we were born women makes us a supernatural being, makes us a gift that keeps giving, literally, because we're the ones that give life. So the little girls out there, princesses and queens to be, there is nothing that if you want to do that you cannot do. You just need to want it bad enough and be willing to do the work. And if you do the work, I promise you, there is nothing you cannot attain. There's nothing you cannot achieve. If I'm sitting here today and I'm saying this, it's because I'm a proof that there's nothing that's impossible, right? So I got married at 23, had kids, went back to school, and today I'm a doctor, right? I'm not only a doctor, but I'm also a professor. I teach at my school. I'm not only a professor, but I'm also an author. I'm not only an author, but I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a businesswoman. So we can have it all. You can have it all. So do not let anybody put you in a box, or do not let anybody tell you that you cannot. Yes, you can do literally anything that you want to do, and go out there and basically make it happen. And always remember to be your sister's keeper.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mimi.
Oh my God, it was awesome. Thank you for coming.
Dr. Mimi Nkwepo. She proves that true royalty is found in service, love, and legacy. If you would like us to tell your story, contact us here. Thank you for watching Diaspora Stories, where Cameroonian grit goes global. I'm Patience Embelle. Goodbye.